My name is Erminda D'Costa and I'm from Goa. It has been 8 years that I'm married. In the first year of my marriage, after 3-4 months, my husband had to leave for his work and he's working on the ship. After 4 months, he had to get back to Goa since he was not keeping well. He was diagnosed with diabetes and it was very high diabetes, 500 above, so which was not good for him. And he called up to me saying that I'm coming home. At that very moment, I was just shaken up. I didn't know what to do. And he came down on the medical grounds. Once you come on the medical grounds, it is very, very difficult to get back to work. So what happened is he came down and we were all puzzled, like we didn't know what to do. The day when we went to see the doctor, we took all the reports that he had brought from the ship, whatever his doctors has consulted. He just went through the reports and he started looking at my face. He questioned me, why did you marry this person? Marriage was not meant for him actually, because the first thing is you will not conceive. Second thing is he would not be able to take care of you. Thirdly, he will never be able to get cure from this diabetes. Fourth thing is, and the last thing was, he will not be able to join back work, and moreover he might survive for 7 to 8 years, not more than that. So then what is your future, he asked me. I asked him all the possibilities that he could get cure from diabetes, but then he said there's no cure for diabetes and there's no solution for your problem at all. We were very helpless at that time. We came home and the whole night we were in tears. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know where to go. We didn't know whom to ask help from. All the impossibilities were right ahead of us. And then we said, like, okay, early morning, it was 6 o'clock, we said, nothing doing, we'll go for Mass. We went for Mass. We came from Mass. Even after that, the same words were running about in our minds. How, what, when. As a result, we went to my place. My mother is a very close devotee of God. She too was very, very much hurt hearing all these things. But at the same time, she did not lose hope. She said, definitely God will give His hand to you all. This is a testing time for you all. And you really need to be faithful to God at this moment, at this very moment. Whoever might say, whatever might come up, but you have to be faithful to your God. She said, maybe He wants you all to come closer to me, but what were the ways? We didn't know which was the ways to start from. Like they're saying, okay, you have to come close. Simply, you cannot go close to God just like that. You cannot go start yourself going for Mass every day and simply just because others are saying. It should come within you. So as I was sitting at home, suddenly my cousin had to drop in. And she said, like, it is really sad to hear about you. Hardly anybody says that nowadays. But then she said, like, will you listen? I have something for you. I said, okay, tell me, what is it? She said, let's make a retreat, a divine retreat center. She said, let's make it. She didn't say, okay, you all do it. She said, I will come along with you all. That was a great support for me. And at that very moment, I didn't know. I didn't even ask my husband whether we should go in for it or no. And I told her, I have to think. She said, there's no time to think. This is the time God is calling you. You have to only make a way and make up your mind. I said, okay, nothing doing. We made up our minds and we said, somehow we'll go along with her and we'll make a retreat. The retreat already started. We went for a confession. And after the confession, the healing started taking place in our lives. The father announced, he took my husband's name and he said like, okay, now Ryan is getting healing. He's touched by God. And we were like all stunned to know his name at the altar. We didn't know what to do. For a moment I was like thinking, it might be some other Ryan whom father is talking about. But at the same time, when we finished with the adoration, my husband came out and he said he was into tears the moment father took his name and he didn't know what to do. Before coming for the retreat, we had consulted a doctor. With all his reports that he had come down, he went through the reports and doctor showed all the impossibilities, all the impossible things that would not be possible by no means at all, I felt. And then these were the words of the doctor. Doctor said, never will you have a child in your life. The second thing was, never will you be able to get back to your work since you are a diabetic patient. And the third thing he said that was very much hurting and that I could not resist that. He would live more than 6 to 8 years, not more than that. And all his words were running into my mind. And as we were coming to an end of this retreat, I was all the more touched by God. But on the other side, all those words too were running in my mind. How, when, what? And as I was thinking, I would get, God would answer me at that very moment, like, I'm there with you all the time. It was the last day of our retreat and we happened to visit a holy land. And along with us, my cousin too was there with me. She said, let's do the pregnancy test. And I was like, no, it would be useless. Why are you just testing God and testing my faith? So then finally, it was her will, like I said, okay, we'll do it. And she happened to do the test and the test was positive. And at that very moment, we didn't know whether it was true or false. But it was a God's message, like God was really working out with us. We came home and my husband was jobless for literally 2 years. Again, God put us to test. At that time, he felt very low. He was thinking like, how are we going to survive? How we are going to give the best to our daughter if this is going to be the state of us? Then he would always say like, you have fallen in trouble getting married to me. And I used to always tell him, no, I haven't, because God has made a way for me and definitely God will bring me out of this. And I used to always tell him, he would not agree with me. He would every time make it a point of saying that, I have really put you into trouble. I have really put you into trouble. If not me, if you had to get married to somebody else, you would have been into heavens by now. And I should always tell him like, he used to always tell me, okay, go to your mom's place and stay. And I would never want to leave him alone because I knew if once I leave him, the devil was right away in his position to take care of him. And he would go deep down in his thoughts like, what have I done? I have done a mistake. And I am not able to give my best to my wife. So what's the point of me? I didn't wanted him to feel disabled by no means. And till now he's saying that my wife was a great support for me at my bed times. In our Goan tradition, it is like once you get pregnant, during your last days, you go to your mother's place for your delivery. Even at that time, my husband, like in my 7th month, he started saying, you go to your mom's place because you are really in need of your mother at this very moment. You might be feeling that someone has to be there. And I used to tell him, no, you are there, that is enough for me. And till my 9th month, I did not go to my mother's place. That was a good moment of my life. And he used to say, like, even at your last day, you did not say, I want to go to my mother. And I told him, like, such a great support, you are there with me. That is enough for me. And I went through my delivery very safely. Everything was done well, no doubt. I delivered a baby girl, and it was like for 2 years, he was jobless. He tried in many places. He was going to everybody's doors, but everything was in God's hand. But then we came to know each other more. We came to know our disabilities, our abilities, our weaknesses. And there were happier moments, there were sad moments in our life, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, we would unite ourselves. We would come together and say, okay, it was my mistake. He would say it was his mistake. For a person to survive, you really need some earnings. And when you are jobless for 2-3 years, you keep on thinking, how will you survive when your family is with you? So it was like after 3 years, he clicked to a job and towards the different company. He's working for a different company now, but he had to start right from zero. And when he started, he used to always say, again, I have to start my journey of work. I don't know how I will do it, but still, I will make it a point that I do it in God's name. And he stepped forward to do it. For 1 year, he slogged. For 2 years, he slogged. And in the 3rd year, God really had mercy on him. And he got his post back. He started working, and he got that happiness also back. And now he's saying, I never thought I would come to such an extent. I never thought that I would get my job back. That was the happiest moment in his life. But he has experienced God in such a way now, if any trial come in his way, he will say, God, you are there with me, so I can face any trial that comes my way. Earlier, it was like for us, not even 5 minutes we could give to God. Even those 5 minutes were very precious to us for our daily life. We never thought like, even God needs some time of us, and we would escape by some or the other reasons. I still remember at times we did not have a minute to say in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. But now it is like as we want to sit with God, we say our daily prayers, we say our holy rosary, we go for Mass, we sit in the Blessed Sacrament for maybe even for half an hour, even 5 minutes if you give to the Blessed Sacrament, it is worth giving, I feel. And every time when I was going through all these trials, only one scripture would come in my mind, and that is, ask and you shall get it. Knock and the door will be open to you. Only these words were running into my mind. And I feel that made me come more closer to God. And God has really made his words come true. Knock and the door will be open. And he has really opened his widest door to me, I feel. And ask and you shall get. Because the impossible also, he has made it possible in my life. And in this way, God has tested us, but he has shown us that God was really close to us. And he only wanted us to come closer to him. That was it. Now, I'm a mother of a 6-year-old daughter. I'm working. My husband is also working. He has got his post back. And all that we have gone through, we don't even remember it. Thinking that once upon a time, we had such black clouds in our life. And now after 8 years, I have come back to this retreat center just to give my testimony along with my family, my husband and my daughter. that nothing is impossible, everything is possible in the name of Jesus. You only have to believe in Him and things start working.
Jesus has been a really good friend to me. He has always been there, like whenever I needed Him. Like I needed somebody to talk to, I needed somebody to share my feelings with. He has always been there. Like if I just go and sit quietly in a chapel, I know that He is there because I can hear a voice. I can feel His presence. He is omnipresent. Like there is a spirit. He is in the form of a spirit, and I can feel that kind of affection. I can feel that kind of guidance in my life, because where I have reached today is totally in His hands. I had no plan for my life. I was very unstable. I was very, my mind was wavering all the time. I had no clue if should I take this or should I take that. Like I never expected myself to complete architecture. When I was small, I had no idea that I was going to be a builder, be a designer. I was always in a dilemma, but I know Jesus is the one who guided me, and He's the one who made me reach where I am today. I have always looked upon Jesus because of my mother. She was the one who always guided me. She told me, there is Jesus, you have to do your prayers. She's the one who insisted on a family prayer daily. Come what may the time you come home, it does not matter. Even though you come home at 12 in the night, you are not going to sleep without a prayer, a family prayer. Okay, no matter what, even if all the 4 members of the family is not present for the prayer, you have to do your family prayer. You have to come with me and do your family prayer and then go back to bed. That was always, my mother always insisted on that. I believe it was my mother who guided me and got me closer to Jesus Christ. I've always been in a dilemma about things. Deciding on something has always been my weak point. But when I am in that confusion, I can always hear an opinion, which is a valid opinion from somebody, maybe an aunt, maybe an uncle, maybe my own mother, or maybe somebody distant, or maybe somebody really close. But it really implies, I'm not a very open and sharing person as such, but yet somebody else tells me about this. Though I have not spoken to them about my inner feelings, though I have not spoken to them about my anxiety, about my fears, but yet there is a conversation about that. There is a conversation and there is an opinion which I believe is divine. So I completed all my schooling in the Gulf. I shifted back to India for my higher studies, and being in college and listening to God is absolutely not easy. You have a lot of friends who discourage you to go to church. Why? Why do you go to church? Why? You do everything else the rest of the week, and then just one day you devote to God. What's the point? But I always believed in that. 6 days you live like a normal human being, but on the final day, which is the Sabbath, which is on a Sunday, you have to devote it to Him. I always believed in that, and that was my principle throughout my college life. That's how I went through my college. Though I had discouragements, but I fought it. I kept going for Sundays to Mass. I'm not saying I was very religious. I'm not saying I used to pray every day, but I used to not skip my Sunday Mass. First time I came to Divine Retreat Center was when I was 10. I was obviously compelled by my mother to come along with my brother. And I don't remember going back with an experience as such. And last year, I came for the Power International Youth Retreat. That was just circumstances led me to Divine. As in, my cousin who needed company to come to Divine, she was asking me to take a week off from work, and I didn't know how to ask at my office for 1 week, 1 week at one go. And I somehow did manage to get a 1 week off, and I told them I'm going for a retreat, and that's how they gave me a permission. But it really did help me, that 1 week in Divine Power Retreat. It was really worth it. But when you go back to the world, it is not easy. I was even mocked by my own boss. I was like, he asked me, "Oh, did you become a new Christian? What did you do? You got yourself cleaned?" And it's tough to answer such questions. It's really tough getting back into the world and trying to lead a holy life. It's really difficult. And from last year onwards, I had decided I would make another retreat. I always had this lingering pain on my lower back. It is because of constantly sitting on a chair or a sofa, which was usually a sofa, during my college years. Because we had a lot of assignments, and they were all laptop assignments. Like we're into drawings and designing, so we had to do a lot of designing on the computer, like AutoCAD drawings. So we had to sit and do all of those and then get them printed. So sitting and working throughout, even if you're in college, again you sit and you attend classes, you attend lectures while sitting, or you go to the computer lab, again work on your laptop while sitting. Again you come back home, again you're on the sofa sitting. Or you go and sit on your bed. Again, you're always sitting, and there's always a compression at the lower back. And this was always there for the past couple of years, but I didn't take it seriously. Though 2 of my classmates had undergone surgery for lower back diseases, but I didn't take it seriously. As in, I did not want to go to the doctor. I did not want to be diagnosed with something that needed a surgery. I was too afraid. I didn't even tell my parents much about it. I kept ignoring the pain. I kept thinking, okay, it'll go back. It'll be back to normal by tomorrow. Or maybe it's just because I carried too much of weight the other day, or maybe because I climbed too many steps the other day. I would always reason it out and fade it out, and I wouldn't give it any much of importance. And when I came to Power International Youth Retreat last year, again I was traveling from my hometown, and there was a travel, and there was you're carrying a bag of clothes with you for your entire week. So all of that triggered the pain once again, and I kept ignoring it. I thought, okay, fine, I just reached here today, it'll be gone by tomorrow. But it did last for another 2 more days, and I thought, okay, fine, it's just usual, it's just on and off, it keeps coming and going. But I kept thinking to myself, look at me, look at my age, and this is too young to have back problems. But I would not make it a big issue. I would always let it go. But during one of the sessions, during the retreat, I felt like they asked us all to get up if you had any physical ailments. And I stood up, and in that, when you come to the Lord saying that I am imperfect, He makes you perfect. I believe it's that way. I believe there is interference from God as long as you submit yourself. And I believe that's what happened to me. I submitted myself. I agreed. I let the Lord know that I am in pain, and He took it away. I didn't even ask for it. I had no intentions of curing my back pain or anything of that sort, but I just let Him know that I have this pain, and He took it away. And I believe it's as long as you submit, He's willing to take part in your life. One verse which struck me was Jeremiah 29:11, which says, the God has a plan for you. And I believe that God has a plan for me, though I did not believe it at first, though I thought it was all coincidence. Things are just happening by chance because there is something, ancestral. All of that is what people talk about. But when I came, this is the one verse that struck me, and it has still not left my heart. It is Jeremiah 29:11, which says, God has a plan for you. And I believe God does have a plan for me. And you just have to believe. As long as I believe, as long as you believe, that God will work wonders. I'm not saying after the retreat, life has been tremendous. Life has been utter joy. No, it has not. Things have a plan. God has a plan, and things will go according to the plan. There is an order in life, there is an order in nature, and probably that's why things are going this way. I'm not saying life is awesome, life is incredible, there are no temptations, there are no trials, there are no tribulations, there's absolutely no, there is everything, just as a normal human being goes through, there is everything that you go through, maybe even more. But I have the strength and I believe that God has a plan. There is a reward. There is something in the future. There is something better coming. It's always darkest before dawn. I believe that, and I believe Jesus will work in our lives. We just have to be patient. I do not believe that my life is going to be a piece of cake after I've attended a retreat, after I've got to know Christ. I know life is not going to change all of a sudden in a split second. No, it will not. And I believe that though this tunnel is dark, there is light at the end. And I believe that will be the same for anyone. You just have to believe in Christ. You just have to believe in Jesus that He will help you. He will give you that sort of encouragement to go through what you are going through, to finish off what was planned. And I believe you will see light towards the end.